Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a college football edition of Beers with the Beards. I'm your host, the professor, joined this fine evening by the Stache, the beard conspicuously absent. Um, we are confirming his location, but in the meantime, hey, hey, we're back, baby.
Dramatic effect.
We're back.
What are you drinking tonight, man?
I am drinking a Leinenkugel Juicy Peach. And you can see it's sweating. It's been hot here in Colorado. Thought I might get a nice, refreshing light beer. Typically, Leinenkugel is the summer shandy. But I am not one who can turn down peach. So um, pouring it in this wonderful mug that I bought at an art show in a manic state, along with a whole bunch of other art I can't afford. So that's been the state of my life since we last saw each other. What are you drinking, bud?
I have got a. I'm on the ranch water train, man.
Ooh, a little agua de rancho.
These puppies are my go-to these days. I feel like I sort of graduated from the White Claw back in the day and elevated my game to the ranch water. This one's a prickly pear. I got the variety pack. So
they're dangerous, though.
Well, that was no great crack. It's unfortunate.
No, it sounded good in my headphones. It was good. The ranch waters are dangerous, though.
They're good.
They'll catch up on you. I just did maybe the worst pour of my entire life, by the way. I still haven't got this thing poured out. Terrible. So.
Well, we're a little out of practice. What's it been? When's the last time we did this? February?
February, since the Super Bowl. So, yeah, we are a little bit out of practice. But the reason we are here tonight is because in 22 days, actually 21 days, and we'll call it 7 hours, college football is back. And I know that you feel the exact same way. You cannot wait because you and I spend most of the day sending each other clips on Instagram of college football moments, college football news, generally followed by the statement, God, I miss college football. So we're here tonight to do a very special college football edition of Beers with the Beards. Before we kick off, Spitz, do you want to tell them about the other venture that the Beards are going on?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, for the 1 to 2 listeners that are out there that do
all three of them,
Professor and the Beard, we've been working on our gamified sports book. Hope to release the MVP this month, actually. So we should be finishing up our last sprint here on the 11th, and then we'll move into beta testing. For anybody that's listening that isn't already subscribed, we will include in the show notes the ability to sign up to be a beta tester. And you can expect an email from yours truly around mid-month. So, Battle of the Bets. We're pretty pumped about it. A lot of cool features coming out in the first version, and a lot of cool stuff that we're going to introduce down the road.
What does this app let us do?
It lets us sports bet in states in which you otherwise may not be able to. So since we last convened, I have moved to the great state of Texas. Unfortunately, they haven't got their shit figured out down here, and I can't sports bet. So I've been using the professor as my personal bookie, which is unfortunate because I'm milking him dry right now.
Yeah, we've been on a little cold streak. I might not have placed your bets today. I might be putting you on an administrative hold.
Last night, just because we went 2-2. Because the night before that, we were 3-0.
It's getting.
So,
It's got
anyways,
to reset.
until the app comes out, I'm in the need for a new bookie apparently because my other one's not placing my fucking bets. So feel free to DM Battle of the Bets Instagram page if you're interested, and let me know what your fee structure looks like.
It's gonna be hard to beat mine. Gonna be hard to
Yeah.
beat mine. But no, like I said, for the 6 people that listen to this, if you're not already on the list, go please let us know. We can get you
just
signed up.
3x'd in the past couple seconds.
We really did.
Yeah, man. We're excited about it. And we'll talk about it a lot in this podcast and keep you guys updated with the journey and what's coming out and what challenges we might be doing and interesting items that may be introduced into the game. So yeah, it's a lot of fun stuff down the road in the near future.
It's been a lot of hard work, but it all boils down to, the 3 of us just really like gambling, really like sports. Follow your passions. So, all right. So biggest news in college football, obviously, is the desecration, the demolition, the absolute teardown of what was once known as the Pacific 12 Conference, what we so lovingly refer to as the Trap 12 in gambling circles. Crazy. So the big news today, Oregon and Washington, they're off to the Big Ten. That is confirmed.
Oh, it's confirmed.
It is confirmed. Utah and Arizona are rumored to be the next to go, heading to the Big 12. Who is bigger? Time will tell. What do you think, Stache? You're our college football expert. What does this mean for college football? What does this mean for the future of the Pac-5 at this point? Is whoever's left?
Well, first of all, I'm not a college expert. Probably not an expert in anything. Maybe drinking and watching college football, if you could be an expert in such endeavors. I don't know, man. I've been listening
Cheers to that.
a lot. Yeah, buddy. I'm a huge fan of the Late Kick with Josh Pate. I really love the coverage that he does. They cover college football year round as if it's a year round sport. And I just think in general, he's a great dude with a lot of great thoughts, and his mentality about college football is very much aligned with me. The great thing about him is he's well-spoken. So he's able to take what's crammed up into my brain and broadcast it very well. And he's obviously been talking about this a lot, and I agree with it. But at the end of the day, there's been a lot of changes in college football, and as human beings, we are wired to be afraid of change for the most part. I'm generalizing here, but in general, everybody is resistant to change, difficult to change. And we also get trapped in, and myself in particular, I'm a nostalgic dude, man. I hear the SEC on CBS thing on, and I get transported like that back to being like a 9-year-old kid watching the Vols play on Saturday against Florida, whoever the marquee matchup is. So I love all the old tradition and stuff. I don't like the conference realignment. I'm not a fan of what's happening with the Pac-12 and with Texas and Oklahoma coming from the Big 12, the SEC, because I like the regionality of football. And also I talk a lot of shit on the Pac-12 when it comes to what talent they have out there. And, especially from gambling and everything. You alluded to the Trap 12 earlier. But I love the late kick. There's nothing like a day of drinking beer all day. And then it's all right, the 9:30 kickoff, it's USC and Cal or whatever. I love college football and I like the Pac-12. And it's going to make me sad that whole conference and the marquee teams like USC and Oregon and UCLA are all leaving, because it's just those are West Coast teams. Why are they coming over to the East? It's just, I like the regionality of it. And also because it's you're able to talk shit to your friends and stuff too, right? This is how we play football down South versus up North or out West or whatever. And now you're sort of removing that and building these mega conferences. And I think ultimately what frustrates me is, I watch a little bit of NFL. I am not an NFL guy. I like college football because it's not the NFL. And it just seems like it keeps moving more and more and more towards that direction. Saturdays in the fall are my thing, not Sundays. I don't want a watered down JV version of the NFL that I'm watching on Saturdays. And that's kind of what they're doing.
D-League, NBA D-League, yeah.
And it's the expanded playoffs. Now, bowl games don't matter. These kids are opting out and stuff. And it's dude, what happened to the back in the day when every game mattered and just to make a bowl was a big deal, and it meant a lot for the school's program because maybe they're only a team that gets 7 or 8 wins, once every 10 years or something. So I feel like some of that has gone by the wayside, and I'm not a fan of it. And it boils down to the people that are in charge just want to make more and more money, which, I mean, I can appreciate. I'm a capitalist. I like making money, but I think at what point, sometimes too. And I'd like to sort of disagree with myself where there's also like a lot of good shit that's going on. Like, I'm a huge fan of the
Yeah.
NIL. So I'd love to be able to like carve out some of the new things that have happened, but also bring back some of the older shit. Like, bring back the Southwest Conference, dude, with SMU and Arkansas and Texas. And I would love to see that. I like the playoff idea. Maybe just make it 6 teams. Like, we don't need a 12-team playoff. Make it 6 teams, but instead of these fucking auto bids, bring back the BCS computer. And like, that's who decides who goes into the playoffs.
That's a hot take, brother.
Well, you're going to fucking tell me that a team from the Pac-12 gets an auto bid when they just lost all their great teams because it's quote unquote a Power 5 conference?
Well, I don't think they'll be P5 anymore. I think so. The logical solution for the Pac, whatever we want to call it, is probably them combining with the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah.
And they will not give those schools that status, regardless of how deserving they are, right? Like, Boise State has been an absolute powerhouse as a G5 for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And their biggest win was the Fiesta Bowl, right? That freaking, yeah. I mean, one of the greatest games of all time.
Great game.
They were in line for a bigger game, I think, when they lost to Nevada in 2010. But I don't think if what happens continues to happen, I think there's a P2 and then everybody else, right? Yeah. Maybe a P3, the Big 12 and SEC, and the rest of us are begging for scraps. And I agree, like, there are some good things, right? NIL is great. I love it. The players deserve it. There's some good stuff from this realignment that's coming. If Utah does end up going to the Big 12, then that Utah-BYU rivalry will be back, which Utah's refused to play any of the Utah schools since they joined the Pac-12 because they knew it would mess with them. So that'll be cool. Some other stuff. I mean, Red River shootout should still be a thing, right? With OU and Texas.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, so that's back. So there's some good, but I agree. There's also something to be said about letting money just kind of run everything when, I'm the same way. We're capitalists. We want to make money, but end of the day, there's something to be said about tradition and upholding that tradition. And
I think there's a happy medium between the two of them, and I feel like we're just on the far side of one extreme.
But I think it's frustrating as fans and as alumni, right? Like, I get frustrated as an alumni of a school of like, I paid a lot of money to go to your school. What are you doing with it? And then I see them, destroying tradition for millions of dollars. Like, I don't know. It gets frustrating, but not much we could do about it. What do you think the realignment means for this 12-team playoff that we're headed towards? And does anybody get an invite from these now outside of the P3 conferences to be a part of that?
I don't know. I mean, so you got to have, it's still technically, it's still auto bid. So you've got, is it 1 or 2 from each? Is it the top 2 teams as they expand to 12?
Are you talking about
one?
Are you talking about for the playoff, or are you talking about for like New Year's 6?
I'm talking about for the playoff.
I
as we expand the playoff, all the New Year's 6 games are going to be playoff games.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a 12-team. Well, I don't know. They've talked about having like the first round on campus and stuff. I don't know, man. To be honest, I'm not super educated on what the 12-team playoff looks like and how they're going to run it. I think number 1 and number 2 are supposed to have a bye. And I think the first round is actually on-campus games. And then you move into the bowls. I think that's what I read, or at least was like a proposal. I don't think it's been fully finalized yet, but it'll be interesting because 12 teams. You just take the top 4 from the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC, and call it good. You know what I mean? And then what is the top? So you take a conference like the Big 10. Who finished 4th in the Big 10 last year? Oh man, I couldn't tell you.
I'm looking it up right now.
Penn State was probably 3. Then maybe Iowa. How did Wisconsin do last year? They
Not
have
good.
kind of a pretty significant drop off after those top 3 as of recent.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
so if you auto bid it that way, Maryland.
I would not have guessed that.
Oh no, sorry, that was just the Big Ten East. My bad.
Okay.
This website is awful. Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State. Yeah, I can't find it. Either way, you're right. Whoever after third, there's not a lot of depth in the Big Ten. Not to hate on the Big Ten, but like that's the truth, right? Whoever
Just
wins
recently.
the game,
Yeah.
and then whoever survives enough in the West Conference to maybe get a fluke win to beat Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State. Like it's absurd.
But this is the last year that you'll be able to have all that because they're doing away with the divisions. So
Are they?
At least in the SEC, it's going away. So the Big 12 already does it. They just it's random. It's not random.
That's right.
You
I remember that.
every couple of years, you play everybody. There's not a North and a South or an East and a West. So the top 2 teams very well could like play in the regular season, and then if it's like the Ohio State Michigan game where it's rivalry week, turn around a week later and then play again for the Big Ten championship, which is kind of cool. And you can see the same thing in the SEC too, because they're going to get rid of the East and the West. I'm not necessarily against that. I think it's kind of cool because you get to play more schools more frequently, which I think is interesting.
Didn't that cost the Big 12 quite a bit though? A couple times where they were, cannibalizing each other, and then
yeah. But I mean, the SEC already cannibalizes itself to begin with.
It's different down there. It's different down there.
Yeah, and I think the Big Ten, as it stands today, I'm not saying in like 3 or 4 years or whatever, because who knows what's going to happen with some of those teams, but it doesn't matter because it's such a big drop off after those top 3.
Yeah.
Shuffling stuff around.
Well, but with whoever joins, it's going to be interesting, right? Now it's not a drop off anymore. If you're getting a Utah caliber that, finished 6th in the nation last year, and so it could completely change the way the Big Ten looks. So that could be a positive instead of,
Yeah. I mean, I won't hold my breath on how well the Pac-12 teams fare when they come over to the other side of the Mississippi. So,
but it goes both ways too, right? So if they've got a crossover into California and they're playing a 7:30 kickoff, that's 10:30 at night for them typically,
I'm just talking about the talent disparity between the different leagues.
SEC, I'll give you probably Big 10, Big 12. I don't know that there's that much of a difference.
What was the final score of the USC Penn State game?
Last year?
Did they play in the Rose Bowl? Was that USC that they played?
Yeah. 45. No, Rose Bowl was Ohio State, Utah. Oh, no, that's the wrong score. That was the year before.
Played the playoffs.
God, because it crosses over the year. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because it's new. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was 35-21.
Oh, okay. I thought it was kind
of... It's not. I think that might have been some late game heroics.
Yeah. I mean, who knows,
I don't know.
dude? I'm just sitting here talking shit on the West Coast teams like I always do. So,
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of this podcast, is to sit here and talk shit. So let it fly, brother.
To summarize, I'm not a fan of conference realignment. I like the regionality of college football. I don't know that it's necessary for a 12-team playoff. I think a 6 could be interesting, where you could still have a first-round bye for the first 2 teams. And I don't like the auto bids. I think they should come up with a different solution than an auto bid. But outside of that, I still love college football. And from a fan on Saturday, I don't know how much of an impact it's really going to have. Like, if it's 3:30 on a Saturday and I'm watching Tennessee, Florida, does any of this really impact that experience from a fan level? Probably not.
I mean, not Tennessee, Florida, but when you're hoping for some juicy Wednesday night action with Connor Steele running the
Carson
ball.
Steele,
Carson
who's
Steele, sorry.
transferred to UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah. It's a
Yeah, dude.
heartbreaker. He could have been a
He's gonna
MAC
be prime
legend.
time now.
But I'm worried that, some of that's going to go away, and that's part of my favorite part of being a degenerate college football fan is I could sit there on Wednesday night and fully invest myself in a game of action, and find talented young players like Carson Steele to go, root for throughout the season. So I don't know. We'll see. If the two of us can't solve it, nobody can. So they'll have to figure it out. So I pulled the preseason predicted rankings from 24/7 Sports. Obviously, ESPN hasn't released theirs. AP hasn't released theirs. But interesting list. Obviously, Georgia number 1, no surprise there.
Nope.
Michigan number 2, I think. Probably again a good spot. Ohio State at number 3. Fucking hate them. What do you think the top 3? You think that's fair? Do you think there's somebody out of there that ought to be closer?
I mean, Georgia's definitely number 1, right? I mean, they're back-to-back national champs.
No doubt.
Until you lose a game, they got to stay up there. What Kirby's done is really impressive. I think everything else after that, sure, it sounds good to me. I mean, Ohio State and Michigan both had great years. They've got a ton of talent coming back. What rounds out the top 5? Who's 4 and 5?
Alabama, LSU. LSU is an interesting one at 5.
I like Alabama and I like LSU. I think those are good. I think LSU is one of those teams that has the potential to. They should, if things go the way that they hope they'll go down there, they'll be back in Atlanta. I think representing the West.
You think so?
Well, they've got like some secondary issues, but they got some guys that transferred in. If they play well, I think. I mean, who knows, man? It's interesting. Like, I've also heard a lot of people counting Alabama out now because they had a bad year last year with 2 losses.
Yeah, I know.
Two single possession losses.
And still the greatest fucking college football coach of all time. Like, it's obscene.
That always cracks me up. Like, oh, he's done, Alabama. Like, how many times have I heard that? And the next year they come back and win a national championship. Yeah. I do recognize that, like, they don't have a quarterback right now, and we're familiar with the Bryce Youngs of the world, and who are the guys?
Jalen Hurts.
Hurts and the Hawaiian dude are both playing in the NFL. Like, but if you look back at Saban's track record before those 3 guys, it was just it was a system. You had a game manager in there. Obviously, they had to have enough talent to make good throws and manage the game and everything, but they weren't winning Heismans. And so I think maybe Alabama looks more like that, where they're going to run all over you and they've got a stout fucking defense. I just don't see them having a mediocre year. I think they're going to be in competition for the West and go into Atlanta just like they would any other year. So I'll tell you what's interesting is Auburn. Since he's got down there, he has like snagged a bunch of talent from the transfer portal, and they just flipped a big 5-star from Georgia. So like he's already kind of making waves down there in the recruiting world. So you give him a couple years, you start bringing back. Auburn's one of those teams where they're kind of streaky, like they're really good for a few years and they kind of drop off. Gus Malzahn was kind of up and down. So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, he's already proven success when he was at Ole Miss and stuff, beating Alabama and doing well. So, and Auburn is resource rich too. I mean, that's a school that's got deep pockets when it comes to the boosters and everything. So
now remind me, Hugh Freeze was fired from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
For what now?
Some off the field shit.
You don't remember specifically? Because I sure remember.
It had to do with some ladies, didn't it?
On his university phone, contacting escorts. So flipping these 5-star recruits, little concerning to just knowing Hugh's background, but we'll see. Auburn, they're not on. It will be interesting because who was their interim coach? Cadillac, right?
Yeah.
Did he stay on? Did he stay on as?
I was just about to ask you that. I have no idea.
We should probably do some research for our fucking podcast, but
Yeah, who
uh,
cares? We're being true to ourselves. I really don't know that much about college football. I just like watching it.
no. So another one that was interesting to me, and maybe I just didn't watch enough of their games last year, but they've got Florida State at number 7, and
Florida State has a lot of hype. Florida State
sure.
and Miami, there's been a lot of offseason hype going
Oh,
on.
don't fucking my off-season hype in Miami. No shit. Like that's every year. It's almost as bad as the Texas is back, which has this list has Texas at number 9. So I can't wait for the week 2 meltdown where they inevitably lose. Right. Oh, it's gonna be amazing.
I honestly never really had anything against Texas until I moved down here.
It'll do that to you.
And people ask like which UT, and I'm like,
the real one,
the original one, the one that was like a school in 1796 before you guys even had a fucking state 100 years later. Get out of here, man.
The one that sent 20,000 volunteers down here to make you a fucking state. That one.
Yes. That one rubs me the wrong way. Don't get me wrong. I love like a little rivalry shit talking and stuff, but
oh yeah,
I actually like met some people at this event last night, and one of the guys was actually kind of a chode about it. And I was like, okay, yeah, the real UT thing. But it was like, okay, do you guys have what, four national titles in school history? I believe we have 6. And then you would just go back to just the simple math of like Tennessee was a school in the late 1700s and Texas wasn't a state until mid 1800s, something like that.
Yeah, but
my history's not that great, folks. So take it with a grain of salt.
And then they hit you back with, yeah, but we're our own country. We didn't have to be a state.
I didn't have to hear that. Yeah.
I lived there for 3 years. I know it all. Trust me.
God.
I know it all.
But I've honestly Texas being good at football it's just like Tennessee being good and Miami and Florida State, like and Nebraska, like teams that are historically powerhouses. It's nice when they're good and competing. It makes college football. No. I hate it when it's just one team. It's been Alabama dominating for so long. Yeah. Since we left high school, Nick Saban came over and is, and that's a special type of dynasty. But I missed the 2000s when it was just like a different team every year, like that shit was fucking fun.
Could have been anybody. Yeah. USC, Texas.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Notre Dame's at 10 on this list. I'll be interested to see what they do this year. They open up against Navy.
Yeah, that's in Ireland, right? That's the
I think
week 0, right?
Yep. Yeah. So
that'd be cool.
Ought to be an interesting game. Rounding out the top 25, some ones that caught my mind. Wisconsin at 18. Wisco is one of those schools that's like they always start top 25, and then you're just kind of rolling the dice on the Badgers.
They've struggled a little bit recently.
Yeah. New coach, though, I think.
Yeah, so, I like him. What's his name? He came back from the NFL. He got fired from the Panthers. Shit.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
It starts with an R. Richt? No.
It's going to drive me insane. He's a college coach, man. Like, he'll do well there.
Yeah.
I was surprised he went to the pros. God.
Fickle. Luke Fickle. That's who it was.
Oh, Fickle. I'm thinking of somebody else, maybe.
No, I know who you're talking about, the former Panthers head coach.
Oh, he went to Nebraska.
Maybe yes, that's what it was. Yep. So, no, that is Rule. That I knew it was an R. Yeah, no, he went to Nebraska. So that'll be interesting.
Okay.
Nebraska.
I didn't realize Wisconsin got a new coach, too.
Fickle might have been there. Maybe I'm wrong. I might have been thinking of Nebraska, but no, yeah, they hired him from Cincinnati. I'm right.
Okay.
I'm right.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, it is. I know I shit on the Big Ten earlier, but it's a lot more fun when those big old, like in Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska, when they are all good and you just get those giant defensive linemen and they're running and
corn-fed boys, man.
Yeah.
Down your throat.
Like early 90s college football, man. Like that's
man. Cowboy collars and just giant fucking shoulder pads.
We should bring back the giant shoulder pads, by the way. Giant shoulder pads need to come back. The neck roll needs a comeback.
Oh yeah. I saw a meme the other day and it was like I missed the days when college football players looked like superheroes, and I had just like a bunch of like linebackers with their giant shoulder pads and cowboy collars and neck rolls and stuff, and
Yeah,
the tinted face shields and stuff. It's good times.
it's good stuff. Um, we don't have to talk about Tennessee. Everybody knows our feelings on Tennessee. The disrespect to being at 12. Just kidding. Actually, very
good.
hyped. No, I think it's very respectable.
I'd rather be like in the late teens. I don't like the pressure.
Same. I was the same way. I'm glad we're not top 10. There's some room to flirt there, kind of between 12 and 17, where you can kind of lose and still stick around. But hyped for Bazooka Joe to get on board. Hopefully, a couple years in the back seats allowed him to kind of fix some of his accuracy issues. We already know he's got to can him.
That's he's really interesting because, and we can't gloss over Tennessee. Let's be honest. It's the only thing we can actually talk intelligently about. Everybody's like, what's Tennessee look like this year? Because they lost so much, right? Like obviously Hendon Hooker, huge loss, should have been a Heisman finalist.
Yep.
You lose Jalen Hyatt.
Their
wide receiver is still probably one of the deepest in the SEC. I mean, you look at who they returned. Brew McCoy's potential All-SEC wideout. Mel Keaton came back for a fifth season. He's really progressed a lot. I mean, some of the plays that he had last year after stepping in for Cedric Tillman getting injured, that grab against Florida down the sideline, he had that huge catch in the final drive against Alabama. Like, he's made a lot of progress. And since camp started this week, people have been talking like nonstop about Ramel Keaton. And then there's the kid that transferred from Oregon. I can't think of his name, who's supposed to be awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. But we did get a few like 4 and 5 star transfers, like good players. Yep. So.
And then the Squirrel White, he was great as a freshman last. So the wide receiver room is deep. I mean, Joe has weapons all around him. Offensive line, you got to replace Darnell Wright. That's huge. He's a top 10 NFL pick. But they still have Cooper Mays and a couple. I don't know all these guys' names, but they should be okay. I mean, if he plays well, they have a chance to do really well again. I think 9 or 10 wins.
If he's accurate, I think it's a good season because I mean, all it was last year was run until you open up the pass game and then hit them deep because the receivers were so good. Yep.
It's interesting. So many people are back and forth because the sample size is so small. You have him balling out in the Orange Bowl and throwing for 3 touchdowns and 250 yards and looking like a Heisman candidate. And then you go back to early 21 before he got hurt and he was just overthrow Joe and stuff. So it's tough. I
was at the game where he got pulled.
It was a pit, right?
The pit. Yep. It's a good game. It's a really good game. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. We'll see. Man, really no. One last piece on the top 25. Love to see Tulane, the Green Wave, and number 23. They had a great historic season last year. They're back, still ranked in the top 25 this year. I love seeing a smaller school like that get some respect. So the Tulane Green Wave.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm pumped for them. And are they still G5?
Yeah.
They're still G5.
Yeah, they're in like the
American
is it Mid-Atlantic still a conference, or am I just losing my mind?
I think it is.
I think that's where they are. All right, so we'll probably talk more once the actual real top 25 drops. But in case you couldn't tell, we're just so anxious to talk college football that we had to do it. So moving on, Johnny Manziel, college football legend, NFL clown, has a documentary coming out on Netflix on Tuesday. Don't know if you've seen any of the previews for that. Don't know if you saw the headline today about him making a legitimate suicide attempt after he was cut from the Browns. Are you gonna watch the documentary?
Yeah, you're goddamn right. I'm going to watch that. And as soon as it's over, I'm going to watch Swamp Kings about Florida and Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow.
Oh, I cannot wait for that one.
Yeah. And then by the time that's over, it'll be football season. So I am amped.
Oh, that's gonna get us through. That's a good point. That's just gonna
Yeah,
limp us
they
through.
planned that well.
Yeah,
The
that's
Johnny
smart.
football one's next week, and I think the following week is the Florida one. So,
I hope it's good. The Florida one has so much potential to just. I mean,
oh
that
god,
we've talked about it before, but that team was insane with Urban Meyer being a psychopath, Tim Tebow being, you know, football Jesus, Aaron
yeah.
Hernandez being a straight up murderer. Like,
Cam Newton was down there for a little bit. Like that was uh that was some stacked years down there. That'll be an interesting. I'm sure it'll be great. Honestly, Netflix's sports stuff they've been doing, quarterback has been really good. I've really enjoyed
yeah,
that. Which I also didn't realize that's an Omaha production. That's
of course it
Cunningham is
is.
the executive producer on that. So
Yep.
um, I don't know who's doing the other two. Either way, I'm pumped. I didn't
Yeah, it's gonna
realize
be fun.
that he tried to kill himself.
Yeah, that was the big headline today. He said he put a gun to his head, pulled the trigger, and it misfired. So
Damn.
pretty wild. I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, it coincides with him opening a bar in College Station, Johnny Manziel's bar being open in College
Brilliant.
Station.
I'm surprised that he's waited this long to do that.
Same. What's the over under on amount of? No, I'm not going to go there. Never mind.
No, skip it.
No, you're not going there.
You've already gone there.
No, we're good. Last thing, music corner. Music corner.
Mm.
What good songs you've been listening to lately, man? Oh man, your internet. It says recording continues smoothly. Live video will return when their internet improves. Can you
You
even
can
hear
still
me?
hear me though.
I
Oh, I can
got
hear
you.
you just
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
You
good.
look great.
Thanks.
I was just trying to go to my playlist and see what have I been listening to. Honestly, two songs on repeat recently. Chris Stapleton's new single "White Horse"
Good one.
and one track off of Post Malone's new album, which for the life of me I can't remember the fucking
Just
name.
one track.
Something Real. I've been listening to nonstop,
Yeah.
multiple times a day for the past week for both of those songs.
Love
What about
love
you?
the new Post album. I've had the whole album on repeat.
Yeah, it's really good.
Couple songs, and speaking of Post, couple songs I can't get out of my head. Noah Kahan's "Dial Drunk," and then he has a version that he did with Post. Uh, really, really good. If you haven't heard that, check it
Maybe
out.
I have. What's it
Oh,
called?
bro, "Dial Drunk." I know I sent you the original, but the Post Malone version, very good. And then today, Tim McGraw dropped a song called "Hey Whiskey."
Oh,
It's bro, go listen to it.
I'll put it on.
Um, hits hard.
Mm.
It's hard, but it's really really good. So, um, yeah, I think this is something we'll try to do. I think more often, bringing in some music that we're listening to, and then it's
Yeah, I
hopefully,
love it.
some people get some good songs out of it. So, hey, I can finally kind of
Let's.
see you.
We still got a little bit of time, man. I hate to cut everybody short. Do you want to talk about the Reddit?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're not familiar with Reddit.com, great website. Uh, anything, literally anything in the world that you can think of, there's probably a subreddit for it. And as such, we've got a subreddit for our app, Reddit. So reddit.com/r/battle of the bets. That's where we post our picks, our articles, updates to the game. If you're interested in joining the community, come in and join. We love to engage, love to comment, things like that. And it's just a cool space for degenerates like us to talk sports, gambling,
Yeah,
whatever that
all
might
of the
be.
above. Yeah.
So if you happen to be a random out there that's not part of it, come join us. Also, go check out the Reddit college football subreddit if you're not aware. Very great, as well as our Akitop. That's where Spencer and I spend a lot of time.
Yeah.
Did you see the dude who scored the T pants and then a beautiful handmade sweater at a thrift store?
No.
I was so jealous. When we go to Tennessee this fall, we gotta hit some thrift stores.
Oh, absolutely. That's where the best shit is.
Yeah, so much good Vols shit out there. But
I'm the guy that found the Power Tee pants. I went
Yeah.
back today and found this.
yeah,
Oh, it's like a Christmas sweater. That's sick.
isn't it great?
Oh my god.
And if you swipe,
Yo,
you get a picture.
Speaking of Tennessee stuff, did you see? I mean, I know we already talked about it, but for the 1.5 people that are listening to this, Jalen Hyatt broke Tyreek Hill's land speed record.
Speed record, yeah.
24 miles an hour clocked at the Giants camp earlier this week, which is awesome.
Here's what sucks about that is it's gonna make me watch Giants games this year, and I have zero desire to watch the New York Football Giants. The Lions, they were already my secret second team, right? So I'll watch the Lions all day long. I love Dan Campbell, but it's gonna be hard for me to root for any New York team outside of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
so
I always forget they have so many teams up there. I rooted for the G-Men back when Eli was there, just like versus the Pats and stuff. I never had anything against the Giants. I don't know. It's the NFL. I don't give a shit about any of those teams. So that's cool. I'll watch him play. Hopefully he does well.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how all of them perform this year. I'm kind of excited. Hopefully, most of the Vols can come in and make a big splash.
Did you hear about Darnell Wright and the conditioning test?
No.
So Darnell Wright, top 10 draft pick, offensive lineman. He's always struggled with weight a little bit, like being on the heavier side or whatever. And he came to camp looking like just fucking built like a brick shit house, and then absolutely steamrolled the offensive lineman conditioning test. Like
hell yeah,
like absolutely crushed it. And they were asking him like what he did or whatever, and it turns out he misread the workout plan. And
I did see that story.
He was training for the wide receiver one.
I forgot.
It's all the same. It's the same like distances and everything, but like the timing and the amount, whatever. It's just like so he trained to the wide receiver one, and he came in and just fucking crushed the O lineman one because he's been training to like a way different standard.
He's in amazing shape and fast as hell. It's so funny. Yeah, I forgot. I did see that story. That was good for him, man. Good. Just go out and crush it, Darnell.
The blueprint's out there now. Just train for the wide receiver one every year.
And
come to camp like a motherfucker.
D lineman keeping up with your wide right 3 on the.
God damn, that's good.
Oh, I love it. It's good shit, man. All right. Well, I think unfortunately, until we get something, till the AP poll comes out, we'll do another one. But 21 days, man. We can do this. That's what, 3 more Saturdays?
Yeah, it's not too far off.
3 more Saturdays until we get college football back in our lives. In the meantime, we'll keep sending each other college football clips every day. I'll keep texting you when historic games are being replayed on the SEC network so we can watch them like the goons that we are.
And if they're not, I'll throw on YouTube and put one on myself.
There you go. Nothing makes me happier than when you send me a picture on like a random Saturday afternoon of just YouTube pulled up on your TV watching a historic game. It's great.
Well, Saturdays are great because Al works on Saturdays, so I will wake up, get my workout in, do a little bit of work, and then just watch whatever the fuck I want to watch, which is a rare occasion in this household. Usually it's Bravo, so Roadhouse, 90s Tennessee games, you name it. It's
a man's life right there.
Dude, it's the best. Do you have HBO?
Hell yeah.
Are you familiar with the show Winning Time?
Winning Time?
It's fucking awesome.
All right.
You need to watch it. It's about like the rise of the Lakers and starting with the 79 season.
Oh,
through the,
what is this a documentary? You're talking about the one with the guy that's in all the Will Ferrell movies?
Yes.
John C. Reilly. Yeah. No,
Yes,
yeah, I know
yes.
that. It's not what it's called.
Winning time.
No, that's not even close to what it's called.
All right, the professor is about to lose his first bet of the season.
Let's go. What do you want to put on it?
Friendly five works for me.
Let's go.
It's like winning time and then the rise of the Lakers or something like that.
Holy shit. All right. I owe you 5. It's a free bet on me, baby.
That show fucking rocks.
No, it's super funny. I watched it. I apparently was very hammered when I watched it, though, because I did not remember the name of the series. But I like binge watched it one day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I guess there's a new season coming out, right?
I don't know. I was getting my hair cut earlier this week and I saw a preview for it and I was like, that looks fucking sick. And then I started it and I'm obsessed with it. I'm still.
No, it's really good about Jerry West and Magic Johnson and
Yeah, dude,
how they build the
it's
team and like
yeah.
yeah.
And I didn't realize too like how innovative the Lakers were. Like some of the stuff that's commonplace now, like floor seats. That that was like an idea that team brought together to like make it Hollywood or whatever, and like you could just sit right on the floor level and everything. And the Lakers girls and Paula, whatever the hell her name was like the first Lakers girl. It's just like cool
Paula Abdul, baby.
historical shit that they sprinkle in there.
Yeah,
Cool show.
no, it's good stuff. Yeah, I don't think I've been watching anything real exciting outside of like I said, college football replays and a lot of King of the Hill. So it's my comfort show. It's my go-to. But
I haven't seen much King of the Hill.
what? You fucking live in
I've seen
it.
a couple episodes, but I've never actually.
You live in it. You have to watch it now that you live in Texas.
Oh, is it based here in Texas?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Spencer, Stache. Just fire it up. Pull up Hulu. Start on episode 1. Go.
Okay.
You got like 10
Are they still
seasons of
making new
joy.
episodes?
No, it ended years ago. But they're doing a reboot apparently. So, all right, we can kill the recording. We can just hang out and FaceTime afterwards if you want, but nobody wants to hear us bullshit anymore. So, yeah. All right. Well, from all of us here at Beard the Bet, this has been Beers with the Beards. Thanks for joining us. We've missed you guys. Like and subscribe. Check out the website in the comments. If you're interested in being a beta tester, we can get you all signed up. To the 0.75 people that listen, thanks for supporting us. And have a wonderful, wonderful week. By the time you see this, it should be 19 days until college football, which is good for all of us.